Once again, welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time for Jonathan Lindsay. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, reviews, reactions, topics, randomness, what have you, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now this is for another episode of Batman the Animated Series, and it's called Pretty Poison. And I've reviewed a couple episodes, Feet of Clay, the one on Mr. Freeze, which I rather enjoyed. Feet of Clay, I didn't mind. That was with Clayface, voiced by Ron Perlman. This one is about pretty much the introduction of Poison Ivy. I wasn't really a fan of this episode. And I do like the animation of the show. This is not a rant, this is only 20-some minutes long, and it didn't get me mad or anything. It's just that I liked the Clayface one, and I liked the Mr. Freeze one a lot more than this. This I thought was rather boring, to be honest. Pretty much a flashback where the Wayne Foundation is working with Harvey Dent, voiced by Richard Mole, which is interesting. Richard Mole from Night Court. He was also in this 80s horror film called House back in the day. I'm like, oh, I recognize that voice. That's cool. That's an interesting choice of Harvey Dent, Richard Mole. And they team up to build this place, and it's Gotham Penitentiary. Years later, we cut to the modern time. A chopper escaping with a prisoner. Batman hitches a ride. You did a decent little chase. Chases the bad guy on a rooftop, grabs the guy. I'm your worst nightmare. I'm like, what, you Rambo for Rambo 3? You stole Rambo's line? Maybe Batman saw Rambo 3 the night before, then he remembered that. I'm your worst nightmare. What's that? Is Batman gonna throw a blue light? What is it? It's a blue light. What does it do? It turns blue. So I like that. I like the way he's animated. Batman's a badass. I like that line, but I'm a big Rambo fan, big Rambo 3 fan, so that fits. And then I see this girl. I'm like, okay, with the red head, I recognize that's Poison Ivy. And then she's going out with Harvey Dent. She kisses him. And I'm like, okay. Even just based on Batman and Robin, when Poison Ivy kisses you, I know what's going to happen. The guy gets poisoned, right? Yep. I know he's not going to die because it's Harvey Dent, but he's not Two-Face yet, so, he's not going to die. There's going to be a cure. So, I don't know if I really fault as being predictable. I don't know if that'd be a fair thing to talk about. Like, really, for a show. Batman listens to this new redhead. Goes to her place, or a place where she's at, and a plant grabs Batman, this big Venus flytrap thing, pulling Batman in. She kisses Batman. Batman cuts himself out of the vines. I don't know why he didn't do that sooner. I'm trying to remember, why didn't Batman cut the vines sooner before she kissed him? I can't remember. So then Poison Ivy shoots an arrow at him. He avoids it. The arrow hits the Venus flytrap. Of course, Poison is, oh my god, I hurt another plant. And then she's shooting arrows. And Batman just pulls a light stand down from the ceiling. And that starts a fire. Then Batman, being poisoned, grabs a flower, with a flower pot of flower, says, give me the antidote. Give me the idol, I'll give you the whip. Give me the flower, give me the antidote. Makes me think of, well, actually it makes me think of Temple of Doom when Indiana Jones getting the antidote, but without the excitement. Because I didn't find this episode exciting, really. Maybe because it's a female, so it's not like he can punch and kick her or anything. And he's not punching, kicking plants or doing anything to them. It's more like he cuts out of the vines, he dodges, pulls a light stand down. That's pretty much it. Bargains where she gets the flower. I'm like, maybe you should say one of those arrows and shot Batman in the face. Then you could take your flower and go home. Or you get your flower, and then before Batman drinks it, then you shoot him in the face. I mean, you're a bad guy. It's not like lying is against your code. Because Batman gives her the flower, and then she gives him the antidote. Now, the animation I have no problems with. I actually liked one piece of animation where the fire, the orange glaze of the fire is reflecting on Poison Ivy's face as she's aghast at all this, her other plants being burnt up. They both crash out. He's given the antidote to himself and Harvey Dent. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's really nothing much to this episode. I thought it was a really blasé. There's really not much I got out of this episode. It definitely did not have the emotional impact of the Mr. Freeze one. Because the Mr. Freeze one, you had images like the snow globe with the little twirling lady in it that makes him think of his wife who passed away, and you get a very tragic backstory and a very sad ending where Mr. Freeze is crying because he couldn't save his loved one and wasn't able to cure her. Like, very somber ending. And even like Clayface, at least there's excitement, there's a little bit more action. Even during the finale where, yeah, Batman's not doing a whole lot, but you have the bit where Clayface is looking at all the images of the computer screens, and you have that T-1000 type of moment where it's changing to all these different faces he's seeing on the TV, kind of like when the T-1000 was dying at the end of Terminator 2. Like, that was memorable. I don't see anything memorable about this. I don't see a single thing about this I'm going to remember in a week. And maybe that's putting too much, I don't want to say hype, but too much baggage onto it compared to those episodes. And even the voice, like the voice of Poison Ivy was fine, but I felt like I got more out of the voice of Mr. Freeze and then Ron Perlman as Clayface. Here, maybe also you didn't really get much of her backstory other than she doesn't like that they built a prison on this land. That's really it. And it's just like, okay, and I mean, I get it because you love plants. Is there anything more? Like, there's really, based on this episode, maybe further they did a lot more with it, but based on this episode, there's really not any depth, not really any merit, not really anything to talk about with the Poison Ivy character. Not a whole lot. And Batman, like I said, I didn't mind the beginning where he stops the guy who's escaping from prison. That little bit of action, I don't mind. And like I said, the animation's not a problem. It's just, I didn't care for the story. The ending, I thought it wasn't that exciting of a battle. I think he's caught by a plant creature, cuts out the vines, dodge. That's pretty much it. But I mean, maybe that's an issue when you have a character like Poison Ivy, and it's always going to be, okay, what is he going to do, fight a bunch of plant creatures? I don't know, maybe he'll fight the green slime. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up the trailer for the green slime. Green slime! There you go, Poison Ivy has the green slime! Just look up the green slime trailer up there on search engine. Maybe she'll have a bunch of creatures like that and Batman can fight them. Fight the green, Batman versus the green slime. Also, if you watch the trailer to the end, you'll know why I'm going green slime. But anyway, Pretty Poison, I would say of the 3 episodes so far, this is my least favorite. I like the 3 requests that Jonathan has sent on Batman. I would say this is my least favorite episode of the 3 so far, of the ones I've reviewed. Like I think the Mr. Freeze one was the best one so far. Faded Clay was decent, although I don't think it needed to be two-parter. This one I thought was rather dull. That's just my opinion. But I don't know. Maybe you can't do much with Poison Ivy. I don't know. You can let me know. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.